Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here, and welcome to my review for the Deluxe Lupin Magnum from Lupinranger vs. Patranger, also just known as Lupinranger. So this is a really cool bit where it counts as a sort of roleplay weapon, but also counts as a Megazord or a mecha or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like one of those little mini helper robos, which is super neat. So like to start with the gun mode, I actually quite like the design for this. I think it looks pretty good. Thanks, spoiler alert. But I also really like how, with the exception of the little fists here, that it kind of like hides itself really well. Not that it's like ashamed of being a robot, but you know, like you can see here, these are going to be the legs. Again, spoiler alert, it's going to become a robot. And these are like the arms and stuff. But other than the hands here, I think it's kind of, I don't know if sleek is the right word, but like once it comes together, like you could hardly even tell that it's going to be a robot in some ways, which I think is super cool. I mean, you do have these bits here as well, but I think you get what I mean. And I also really like the lock knob here on the back. I think it's a really cool touch. There's a few little sounds you can make with it on its own, like obviously there was that. And you got the little knob here and turn it this way. Tire ride. Huh. Same noise here. There you go. And that's pretty much it for like the core noises you get just on its own. It's a pretty good size, I think. It's probably a little bit bigger in the show. I'm trying to think about it right now, but I mean, it's definitely a smaller little like pistol-like gun, but I think it's a fairly good size where it doesn't feel like one of those Sentai roleplay weapons where you're like, man, this is small even if I was a kid. Like, I always bring that up that I bring it up now because even when I was a kid, when I bought Power Rangers toys and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, this is small even for a little kid. Here it is with the Versus Changer, just like size-wise. Obviously, it's also going to have a function with it. There we go, there's the word. I was going to say a feature, and that doesn't work. So this is only a little bit bigger than it, and this is just like flat-ter. So yeah, you can put this in here. This is plugged in. The sounds are going to come from the Magnum and not the Versus Changer. So like you don't have to even worry about necessarily having it on unless you want to do that before you do that. So you can see that that's not even going to do that. And it doesn't really matter what position you put it in. You can put it in any of the positions. I actually think they all kind of present a cool, different scenario. Like this kind of reminds me of, I feel like almost the Gabba Revolver or some other ones where you like put two weapons together. Or like, you know what it reminds me of? Is Decoranger's weapons, where it's like two blasters like this, which is cool. This one's the weirdest one, I think. It just looks like it's a gun doing a handstand. I think this one's pretty cool too, though, because it kind of creates the feel of either like a larger gun, like where you pull back like this, or like when people just like pose their different guns in different ways. I don't know. I think it works pretty well. It's pretty simple, but it also feels like it was very much an add-on because this doesn't even say a generic noise when you put it in. But anyway, so you get that noise when you press that, and then turn it once. And then you do twice. Well, there's that one too. And then when you press it, it'll do the firework noise again. I was going to save that one for after this noise I was about to show, but when you leave the pointer like off, it will do that. There we go. Alright, so that's pretty much about it for that noise, or those noises. Again, you activate that other one by not clicking it all the way in between, and it'll have that special, like, basically fireworks noises. Okay, the transformation on this is super simple. Like, these, I already said, are going to become the legs. They just fold down. I'm going to adjust here a little bit. These are going to become the arms. You just fold them down and around like this. Just got to make sure you get it so that the fists are facing the right way. And fold this flap down, and there you have Lupin Magnum in his little robo mode. I do quite like the design for this guy. However, I have to say, I am bothered by his weird little, VS Changer reader hat, both in the show and in the toy. The toy definitely feels more bothersome to me with that. Like, he just looks so squat, and Babu, but mainly squat. But, like, I kept feeling like, oh, do I need to pull this up? Like, it just looks so, like, it looks like this is just squishing. It's like it's a hat that's too heavy for him, and it really bothers me. Like, I noticed it in the show when it recently debuted. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of weird, but here it just really bothers me, which is kind of annoying. So it doesn't look quite as cool as I was hoping it would. When you can also activate the sounds in this mode, and you know, but there's no unique sounds for it. It's just the same ones. I kind of wish that it did have some unique sounds for this mode. Like in the show, when it's moving around, it makes this little blam, blam, blam noise. That was so accurate. And his eyes light up, and I thought maybe it could at least do that. Honestly, I first thought, well, I wonder if it's going to have, like, you know, see-through eyes and have some lights. But no, it's a small thing, but I just like sometimes they have things like that where there's just a couple little different noises, or maybe even one specific noise. Anyway, something else you can also do with this is you can combine it with the arms for Lupin Kaiser. So let me get them. I went for the wrong side over here. So I already got them already. So just do that. And you could obviously do this with any of the ones. I don't know if they'll do that in the show. This is the one that they have shown off in both like pre-scans and in the show and stuff like that. And you could like attach the things from Jackpot Striker or whatever. But yeah, you could do that with any of them. So for like fun customization, I feel like that's something we might see eventually in the show, like a fun like, oh, what if we use this one on it? But this looks pretty good, I think. It looks a little odd, but I think it looks decent enough, and I feel like it kind of balances the squatness of him out. But yeah, overall, I think this is a neat little guy. One thing I kind of dig about him in like this mode and in transforming him is kind of similar to Ho-Oh Soldier's mecha last year. It gives me like a nostalgic feel in a way of like older 90s robos, like, you know, helper robots and stuff like that. I think there was like also stuff like Go Rotor, so it kind of reminds me of that, but specifically like the sort of older ones that, you know, isn't that kind of older style where it's not as sleek looking, so it did give me a bit of that. But overall, I would say that if you like the looks of this thing and you're a fan of it in the show, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I didn't end up liking it quite as much as I thought I would, but it's still, I think, a neat, fun little release. And I also like that you get, you know, playability with it, both with the mecha and with the changer if you are, you know, collecting both of those things, which you probably will have some crossover given that they're very interconnected. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell to get the notifications for all my videos. Till next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.